Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this month's video of our 35th anniversary video series. Now, over the last 6 months, we've covered a lot of information. And over the last 18 months, we've seen a ton of changes in the firearms industry. So today, I want to get a behind-the-scenes look of an extremely hot topic right now, and that's commercial sales. So today, we're going to do a behind-the-scenes look at one of our dealers, and to ask a bunch of questions, we have our regional sales manager, Mr. Jamie Brown, who's going to really help us explore that behind-the-scenes of commercial sales. So let's hop in the truck, make our dealer visit, and start asking questions. So we're in the truck on the way to a dealer right now with Mr. Jamie Brown. Jamie, for everybody watching the video, can you tell us what your position here is at Glock and what your background is?
Sure. So I'm regional manager for Glock. I work Glock East Coast, and my background is law enforcement background. I had 25 years in law enforcement.
So what is the sales staff structure for like our outside sales guys? Like what's the structure like here at Glock?
So Glock in outside sales is divided in 3 separate regions. We have Glock East Coast, we have the Central region, and of course Glock West Coast. And each of those regions have both commercial and law enforcement sales managers and a regional manager in charge of those regions.
And all those commercial and law enforcement managers, what is generally the size of their territory, or how much area and dealers and things like that do they cover?
So they all have, it's divided geographically, of course,
right.
For efficiency, and each manager has anywhere from 2 to 3 to 4 states assigned to them. The commercial managers has a little more territory just because of the nature of what they're doing versus the law enforcement guys.
Right.
But our managers cross-train, so a commercial sales manager may be doing law enforcement responsibilities one day and vice versa. So
right.
We can use the manpower to the best efficiency.
And that's something that I've seen a lot in the events that I've worked. We'll have, I guess, the show boss, as you would call him, who runs the event, but then we also bring in other managers that come in and support to maximize the efficiency of the staff itself.
Right, and at Glock we're fortunate. We have probably one of the largest sales staffs, outside sales staffs of any weapons manufacturer in the world, and
right.
That gives us the ability to put a lot of boots on the ground when we need to,
right.
For large events, and also to address any problems that may come up in the field when we have them.
Now, what's with this being more or less, I mean, your office and your manager's office, what is it like working out of your truck a lot?
You spend a lot of time on the road. There's no doubt about that. A lot of nights in a hotel. Our guys average about 135 nights a year in a hotel room, so they're quite used to that.
Yeah.
A lot of windshield time. You learn how to use your time efficiently as you can.
Right.
You're on the phone a lot while you're traveling from one location to another, but you just make the best use of your time. That's
right.
all you can do. And our day doesn't end at the end of the day. We're on the phone handling issues with our customers, from sun up to sundown, basically. Right. They do a lot of work in the hotel room at night when they get back to their hotels, entering data that they've, gotten during the daytime, during their physical visits and such. But it makes for long days.
Right. Now, you just now mentioned physical visits. How important do you think that is for all of our dealers still getting that face-to-face interaction with our sales reps?
I think it's critical, honestly, because, the last year or so, we've had a lot of time where a lot of people couldn't travel, and,
right.
and so we were forced to use, phones and internet and stuff like that, Zoom meetings and
mm-hmm.
such. And so now we're back traveling again full time, and I think that personal interaction is critical, to be able to put a face, with the name of that person on the other side of the phone they've been dealing with for, all these months and stuff. So the personal interaction is critical in my opinion.
Yeah, that's got to be huge, being able, like you said, put a face to a name, and not having to rely on Skype meetings or your Zoom calls or whatever virtual meetings that we have now. Being able to have that physical interaction there in the dealer itself, I think that builds a large relationship with their staff and obviously our staff as well.
Sure, absolutely it does. It's when you hear someone complain about something, or they have an issue or something they need to address, it's one to take it on the phone and not know who you're talking to.
Right.
But when you personally have a relationship with that person, you've met them and you know who they are, it seems like you want to go the extra mile to
right.
make sure they're satisfied and everything's the way it should be.
Now, how do like our dealer visits in the field? How does that process usually work, or how is that interaction? How is that usually? What's that usually like?
So a lot of our visits in the field are unannounced. I'd say, sometimes we may have appointments, but a lot of times we're trying to maximize the efficiency of the area that we're working.
Right.
So a lot of them we're just popping in, checking on the dealers to make sure that everything's the way it should be with our product. Do they have the advertising they need? Do they have all the information on the programs that we offer, with our stocking dealer program, our range program, our perfection dealer program, all that. We need to make sure that they are aware of the their annual programs, and,
right.
and keep them abreast of that information, so they don't get caught up in missing out and
right.
not renewing their programs and such. So a lot of those visits are made up of that,
right?
And just making sure that they are able to get product, and if they're not, then we try to assist them with the means or the sources, through distributor networks, that they can get more product and
right.
be satisfied.
I think that's something that's really it's really important for us. We talk a ton about our customer support and our customer service. And we're making these dealer visits with our staff to take care of the dealers, make sure that they're up to date on the programs, they have the product. If they don't have the product, then we give them an opportunity to find that product through, like you said, through our distributor networks. So I think that's really important for us to always, do our best to take care of, the commercial side of the market, and really support our dealers.
Absolutely, it is, and it's two-sided. We look at it from supporting our distributors as well as supporting our dealers. But in the end, the end user, being the customer,
right,
has to be able to have the product available to them when they go in and such. So sometimes the dealers will get caught up in, they're used to using the same distributor for all their needs, and
right.
sometimes that may not be the most efficient means of getting product on the shelf.
Right.
So, sometimes it's more of an education, type conversation to let them know, hey, there are other options out there, that may be outside of your norm. And if you'll reach out and establish relationships with, other distributors, then you'll find that you may be able to have more product available.
Right. Now, you being your regional sales manager and working with the commercial side of the house, what has been one of the most rewarding things for you, being here at Glock and working with that commercial market?
Well, I think probably the first day I was hired at Glock was probably the proudest day of my career. I've been here 10 years, but we did recently go through, and still are going through, a world pandemic. And,
right.
and the one thing I think that I can be most proud of is we set a a record company record with number of guns that we produced and sold during a national or world
right.
pandemic. And to me, that speaks volumes for our, every single employee at Glock to be able to step up and do that. Most people, were not even going to work. Our people were actually coming to work and going, above and beyond what they do on a daily basis to be able to meet the demand and set a new company record for firearm sales.
Yeah.
And that, to me, that's teamwork, and that's what Glock has always, strived to or focused on more than anything. And that you got to be proud, to see something like that happen.
Well, that was really rewarding for me as well, to see how we were able to adapt and overcome all of the issues that arose last year. Everything that kind of happened. I mean, everything happened instantly almost. It was like, one day we're kind of relatively normal, and then the next day everything just kind of explodes, and it just got really crazy. And for us to be able to adapt to that, overcome that, and come together as a company, come together as a team, and still do everything within our means to support everybody else and support all of our customers. I 100% agree with you. That was a really proud moment for myself as well.
Yeah, just being in the firearms industry, during that time frame, and knowing the demand that was out there was a stress on everybody.
Yeah.
But I do think we stepped up during that time, and shined as a company,
right,
to satisfy our customers as best we could.
Well, funny story, during that whole process, me and a bunch of other people, we spent 2 weeks on the assembly line.
Oh yeah?
Building guns.
Yeah, I've been there before, and I can say it's challenging, to say the least.
That was an experience.
Absolutely.
But it was great because we got to see a whole different side of the company.
Absolutely.
You know, I've been captain of the shooting team my entire career here. I've supported marketing and all the other departments as well. But being able to go back to that department, to assembly, and see how the process works and how how everything is built, and just the whole experience itself was really eye-opening for me, and I have insane amounts of respect for everybody back there.
Yes, absolutely.
So these dealer visits, these field visits, how often do you think you're doing those these days?
Basically every day of the week, except for the weekends usually, sometimes on weekends, but our folks are out, they're on average they're doing at least usually 10 a day.
Yeah.
Sometimes more, sometimes less, depending on the issues that they run into. And like I said, a lot of them is just checking on folks and making sure that
right.
Things are what they should be, and they don't have any issues, and educating them.
When was the last time you made a field visit?
It's probably been a little bit since the pandemic. It's probably been a little bit, but I find myself in the office a lot these days, making sure my guys, have the stuff that they need, to function on a daily basis. Really, I mean, the whole network and the outside sales, the way Glock does it. I mean, we've been doing it for 35 years now,
right.
And we've got the system down pretty solid on the way we operate. But it does take, we have people in positions that make sure things are running smoothly, all the way up and through the regional manager to our national sales manager, on up to our vice presidents. Everybody plays a role in the everyday operations of what we do.
Well, I'm glad today we could get you out of the office and back into the field and put you to work a little bit.
Absolutely, I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here at Stoddard's Gun Club in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. We're going to get inside, ask some questions, and get the behind-the-counter scene of commercial sales. So let's get after it. So we're here at Stoddard's. Tell us a little bit about Stoddard's.
So Stoddard's is a unique range. They're actually on all the Glock programs. They're on our stock and dealer program,
right.
which is one of like 5,800. They're also a perfection dealer for us, which is actually only like 200 in the country.
Wow. Well, let's get this customer experience going.
Sure.
Drew, how you doing, man?
Welcome to Stoddard's, man. How can I help you?
Well, so we're here doing one of our 35th anniversary videos,
okay.
And this month we want to focus on commercial sales. So really what we're looking for is kind of a behind-the-counter experience, and as of me being a new gun buyer right now, what that experience is really going to be like.
Okay, so the usual experience when it comes to customer and seller experience. So usually when someone comes in, we ask them, what brings you in today, all right? We figure out what firearm they want to purchase. We either go for full-size, compact, subcompact, and we get a firearm that is comfortable in their hands.
Sure.
We talk about further on training. We get them on our computers, do an ATF form for your 4473. We run your background, and then after that, we schedule a training session.
So what do you think after that sale is made, education being so important, what do you think is really making repeat customers out of all the new gun buyers that we have coming into the industry?
So after the sale that happens, it's really one of the more important things is our customer service, right? And after that, our training sessions that we have. Our training sessions are built so that when you learn that first session, the following training is going to bring more knowledge, right? So we go into deeper depths of actually learning how to use that firearm in an effective manner.
Well, education I think is key, especially being in the firearm business. Every month, last month was safety month for us, and realistically every month is safety month. So continuing that education and always continuing that education, I think is very key in retaining customers and keeping people coming back for that education and that experience that they get here.
Definitely. I agree with that 100%. Like I said earlier, one of our most important things is our Starter Training Academy.
Right.
That is very near and dear to us because with a lot of new gun owners in this community, we want to make sure that everyone is using that firearm properly and safely at all times by following those 4 firearm safety rules.
Right.
That's very important whenever you're using a firearm. Firearm rule number 1, handle every firearm as if it was loaded, right? So we ensure that everyone knows how to actually use that firearm.
Right.
For further on sessions, we go into different forms of carrying that firearm, whether it's an off-body carry or a concealed carry.
Drew, it sounds like y'all's business model here basically is building relationships. That's how you're bringing back customers time and time again. Instead of you have a super nice store where people walk in, this is what gets them in the store, but you're offering that extra mile, or you're going the extra mile to get people to come back, building those relationships.
Absolutely. Yeah. We have a very great membership program here, and our memberships is really built around training sessions as well.
Well, you know, that customer experience here, you know, going that extra mile, I think that's huge because, you know, buying a gun for, you know, a first-time buyer, that's potentially a really big step.
Absolutely.
So having them, you know, have that experience and seeing, you know, everybody going that extra mile for them and making that experience something that's memorable and something that they want to repeat, I think that's incredible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So over the last, you know, 18 months has been crazy for everybody, for us on our end, for you guys as well. What has the last 18 months been like? Like, what have you guys really seen change as far as, you know, people coming in?
So it's definitely been on an upward trend. A lot of people come in with some type of anxiety on their shoulders because of whatever has transpired before actually coming in the store. Whether it may be a domestic situation, a carjacking, worst case scenario, or just someone that wants to learn how to use a firearm and become an avid shooter. So yeah, like I said, it's definitely been an upward trend. And so with that large amount of people coming in to purchase firearms, that's why we do stress on the training.
Right. Now, with the upward trend being so significant right now, where do you see the future of, you know, commercial sales going?
Well, I definitely still see commercial sales on that upward trend because you can't beat that customer to salesperson relationship. Anyone can go online and buy a firearm, right? But actually coming into a store and getting that customer relationship and having a salesperson sell you a gun is really meaningful to some people.
Excuse me, Jamie and I were talking about this on the way over here. You know, his outside sales staff and those guys coming into the dealers and having that face-to-face relationship, it's super important because it builds relationships with people. It's not just a phone call or a Zoom call or, you know, something like that. It's really important.
Yeah, definitely. So this past year has been really difficult for a lot of people, whether it be for the pandemic or the gas shortage that happened. So a lot of people are, you know, confined to their homes. So a lot of people are wanting to get outside their homes and do a face-to-face with people and get that customer interaction and getting that training done to actually learn how to do things.
Absolutely. Same goes for us too. You know, we're here if you guys need us anytime.
Oh, we greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Well, I was going to say, you know, with you guys being one of our big dealers and with you being a regional sales manager, what has the relationship been like with Glock?
Oh, our relationship with Glock has been pretty well, actually. Every shipment that we get in, we have a large amount of Glock firearms. Glock is one of our biggest dealers that we have throughout our store, and they are actually one of our highest sell firearms here as well. So
that's good to hear.
Definitely.
It's always good to hear.
That's right.
So, like, normally when customer comes in, what's probably been, you know, the most popular seller, I guess? Has it been like a concealed carry or more of like a home defense style or even competition shooting? I mean, what's kind of been really popular for you guys?
So the most popular thing is looking around the compact firearm, around the Gen 19, the Gen 19, the Glock 19, 5th generation has been the most popular firearm. So some people come in with just wanting to have that firearm in their home. Some people actually are looking for that concealed carry purpose. And so that's why going back to training, a lot of our follow-on training sessions, you learn how to deploy that firearm in a proper manner.
Well, lastly here, Drew, someone coming in, someone still on the fence maybe about purchasing a firearm or, you know, getting over that speed bump. What is some advice you could offer the fans, you know, for that one person that's still on the fence a little bit and just wants that little bit of advice, you know, to finally get them into the store?
Okay. So a little bit of advice I can always tell you is when you come into the store, don't be afraid to ask any questions. We are pretty well knowledge when it comes to firearm sales. So any questions you have, there's no such thing as a stupid question. All right. So come in, ask us a question. We'll figure out what's right for you, and we get you the proper training you need.
Well, Drew, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This has been, I know this is going to be awesome for them to see kind of the behind-the-counter experience and what the customer experience is going to be like buying that pistol. So, really appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it, bro.
You guys have a good evening. All right?
Yep, you too, man.
All right.
Jamie, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and being here with us. We
Glad to
also
be here.
got Bob Radecki with us, who's our national sales manager. He's the man behind the scenes that makes all this happen. So Stoddard's here is one of over 5,000 dealers that we have across the United States. They all have their own story, but one thing they all love is making sure that your customer experience is top-notch. If you visit us.glock.com, we do have a dealer locator so that you can find a dealer near you. Now, if you're watching this video by August 2nd, this will be your entry for the prize this month, which, Mr. Bob, which is?
It's a G19 Gen 5.
G19 Gen 5, the classic. So for more rules and regulations on the Glock 35th campaign, visit glock35th.us, and we will see you next month.